In the past few days, history in the stock market has been made in a way that we have never seen before. I'll open by talking about r/WallStreetBets, a popular forum on the social media platform of Reddit. This subreddit is full of self-proclaimed trolls or gamblers that are trying to make money with really high-risk investments for virtual internet points or upvotes on Reddit. Now you might be asking, how has this subreddit somehow made stock market and investing history in just the past few days? Well, the story starts with a hedge fund on Wall Street named Melvin Capital. Melvin Capital shorted or made an extremely high-risk gamble that the stock price of GameStop will go down. The reason shorting is a high-risk investment, by the way, is because if the stock price starts going up again, like it does with GameStop, hint, hint, the potential loss for companies is literally infinite if they don't pull out fast enough. For years now, GameStop has been projected to go bankrupt as the gaming industry has moved from a physical brick-and-mortar style to a digital era, with digital purchases and everything going completely on console. These hedge fund investors thought that shorting the GameStop stock would be an easy way for them to make some quick money. At least that's what the media will tell you the situation is like. What Melvin Capital was really betting on was that GameStop would go out of business, and because of how much power Melvin Capital has, they essentially would squeeze this company into bankruptcy. Melvin Capital was making the bet that low-salary workers that GameStop employs would be out of jobs in a pandemic. That's the reason that WallStreetBets, who had a shared interest in GameStop, decided to rally the stock. See, the company was a home to many of the gamers on the subreddit, and I myself can say that throughout the 16 years I've been alive, have spent tens if not hundreds of hours within the walls of a GameStop, and would hate to see this company die at the hands of another company simply trying to make a quick buck. And everybody on the subreddit felt the same way. Hence, they decided to fight back by rallying the stock as mentioned before. So what was the result of this rally? Well, for one, GameStop went from $88.28 on market open on January 26th to $347.51 on market close on January 27th, a 293% increase, making users such as Deep Effing Value now over $33 million in just 2 days. Not only this, but Melvin Capital suffered 30% losses of their $13.1 billion empire, a loss that hedge funds have rarely ever experienced before in such a small time frame. The story doesn't end here, however. The reason that this story relates so heavily into politics and especially the classism rooted in our systems today is because of the response by all the powers that be. For one, the FEC is now investigating the WallStreetBets subreddit for manipulating the market. My question is, how is it not manipulating the market when Melvin Capital basically tries to choke GameStop and its workers out of existence? Furthermore, why is it that when a corporation such as Melvin Capital makes a bad decision and loses their money, they get to call on the FEC to investigate the people that they lost to? That's unfair. On top of that, there are now discussions of the government bailing out Melvin Capital and other hedge funds like them. That's right, bailing out a company purely because they made a bad decision that they should have to reap the losses of. If that isn't outright classism or corporatism by our government, I honestly don't know what is. News just came out that there's actually numerous hedge funds that shorted GameStop stock, and that's really funny to me because all of these hedge funds piling together is literally the definition of manipulating the market. If they all short the GameStop stock, there's almost no way GameStop wouldn't go out of business. It's insane, and the FEC isn't on them right now. Very interesting. Imagine you make a bad investment and the tides turn on you, and instead of having to suffer the losses in that investment, you get to call up the government and ask for all that money back, and they seriously consider giving it to you. Just to put all of this in perspective, when the average American asks for rent relief, stimulus checks, or free healthcare in a global pandemic that is soon to claim 500,000 lives in our country alone, our wants are pushed back and we're given halfway solutions by Congress that are more symbolic than actually helpful. But the moment a corporation loses money on the stock market because of a bad investment, the government goes up in arms and chases down the cause of such malfeasance while caring for the wounded corporation. On top of this, the media also hates the subreddit's actions. For one, many of the investing shows on air right now claim the actions of WallStreetBets were both illegal and that Melvin Capital deserves reparations for the damage done to their company. There is also the looming threat of WallStreetBets being banned on social media platforms, and on top of both of these, there's the fact that GameStop stock cannot be traded on Robinhood anymore, the most popular stock trading app right now. I just want to add on right here, it's the next morning, I'm editing the video right now, that the fact that Robinhood banned these stocks, such as GameStop and a lot of other stocks from being traded, is completely unfair because billionaires and hedge funds still have access to those stocks. It's literally just the retail investor that doesn't have access to the stock itself. What's more interesting is that there are class action in lawsuits that are being filed against Robinhood that Robinhood is almost sure to lose. And the funny thing is, Robinhood is okay with taking those losses because it won't upset the billionaires and hedge funds that they are backing right now. However, on the subreddit itself, users say that they aren't just doing this to make money, which they are as you saw before. They are also doing this to prove a point. The point is that the wealthy in America can't continue to manipulate the stock market for their own gain and screw over the average Joe. That when the population who has been subjugated by class its entire life can come together, there is no corporation that can stop it. And finally, the biggest point that they make is that if you really want to stick it to the man no matter what happens to the Wall Street Bets subreddit, you have to hold your stock in GameStop and whatever else the Wall Street Bets subreddit starts to invest in soon. I'll sum this video off by saying that when the US passed the $2 trillion COVID relief package in March, $500 billion of it went to these corporations because they said that they would keep their workers on payroll. And these are companies just like Melvin Capital. Then you know what these corporations did? They fired their workers and hoarded the wealth. In other words, they screwed over the average American with the help of the United States government. Now, Melvin Capital wants the government to help them screw over the average American again. However, this time, you can't even use the excuse of the uncontrollable effects of the coronavirus. It's literally just because Melvin Capital made a bad decision and now wants taxpayer money because they lost. It is outrageous and should open everyone's eyes to one of the biggest divides in our country right now, which is classism. My name is Abhinav Kumar. Thank you guys for listening and have a great night.